Hey y'all, it's Miss A here. We're going to be working with the discriminant of a quadratic equation today. So there's a formula we're going to use for discriminant. I'm going to write that down. So it's always going to be b squared minus 4 times a times c. Now notice I've got all three of those letters in parentheses. That's going to be important when we go through and work this problem. So I've got 4 examples we're going to do here because they're pretty quick. So first thing I want to do, looking at number 1, is I need to identify what are my A, B, and C. Now my quadratic equation needs to be in standard form to be able to identify A, B, and C, which this first problem is. I've got x squared and then 5x and then 6. So I just go down the line, I go in order. My A is the invisible 1 that's in front of x squared. B is 5, and C is 6. Notice all 3 of these numbers are positive, and so I've got all 3 A, B, and C that are positive. Now that I've got those 3 identified, I'm going to plug that into the formula that I've got up at the top in pink. So I'm going to start with B squared. So I'm just writing it down first. That's 5 squared minus 4 times my A, which is 1, times my B, which is 6. So I always just want to write it down plugged in first before I start. Now, if you have a calculator, you can type this straight into the calculator and get your answer. I don't have one right now, so I'm going to go through and simplify it piece by piece. So 5 squared is 25. And then I'm going to do 4 times 1 times 6, which is 24. So 25 minus 24 gives me 1. There is my discriminant of this quadratic equation. All right, let's do number 2. It's a little bit different. You'll see it's a shorter equation here. I just have x squared minus 3x. I'm still going to start the same way because this is in standard form. It's got equal 0 on the end, which is good. My a here is 1 from the invisible 1 in front of x squared. My b, make sure we've got negative 3. And I don't have a c like I did last time, so my c needs to be 0. We do have to make sure that we put that 0 there. That's going to be important when we get to the formula. Now again, I'm going to take those 3 numbers, plug them in where my letters are from the formula at the top. Then I'll go through and simplify. And again, those parentheses are very important because if we're doing this by hand versus in a calculator, we need to make sure that we notice that negative 3 squared is positive 9, not negative 9. If you did not use the parentheses in your calculator might give you negative 9, which is not correct. Then I'm going to go through and multiply 4 times 1 times 0, which is just 0. So this answer is 9. All right, let's look down at number 3. Number 3 is a little bit different because it does not say equals 0 on the end like my last 2 problems did. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to take that minus 4x and move it to the other side. Now, to switch something to the other side of the equal sign, I need to change it from positive to negative or negative to positive. So you'll see this 4x started as negative. So when I move it, I'm going to switch it to positive 4x. And I'm putting it in the middle. That way it's in standard form, just like number 1. I want my x squared, then my x, then my constant, my regular number at the end. Now that it's equal to 0, I can list my a, b, and c. My a is 2, my b is 4, and my c is 6. All 3 of these are positive. Now I'm going to type it, well, not type, I'm going to write it down into my formula. So b squared minus 4 times a times c. And I'm going to go through and simplify this. 4 squared is 16. Bring down the minus sign. And then 4 times 2 times 6 gives me 48. And this time 16 minus 48 gives me a negative 32. That is my discriminant. So it is possible that we get a negative number for our discriminant. Nothing is off limits. All right, last one we're going to do here, number 4. I have equals 0, which is great. That means it's in standard form. It is ready to identify A, B, and C. Now my A here is 9. I have a coefficient in front of that x squared. Notice here in this problem, I'm missing the bx that's usually in the middle. So like this 4x, or my 5x from number 1, or even my 3x, negative 3x from number 2. So because I'm missing that, I'm going to put 0. Remember that 0 is going to be very important. And then my c is negative 25. I'm ready to plug it in. I get b squared minus 4 times 9 times negative 25. 0 squared is just 0. And then when I type in all three of these, now because I've got minus 4 times 9 times negative 25, that's actually going to turn into a positive 900, and 0 plus 900 is just 900. So that's how we find the discriminant of a quadratic equation.